Hey everybody, it's Bunny, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my experiences with the paranormal. And any of y'all that know me on Twitter especially know that I'm really into ghosts, and I go on little ghost hunts of my own every now and again. And for any of y'all that really know me, y'all know that I hang out in graveyards a lot of the time. Sometimes I take pictures, and sometimes I just walk around and see what I can capture. So, actually, my scariest ghost hunting experience was actually when I wasn't trying to hunt for ghosts at all. I was just hanging out in the graveyard for kind of just my own amusement, hanging out. I wasn't really specifically looking to communicate with anything that day. So actually, the ghosts were people hunting that day, I guess, because they hunted me instead of me hunting them. I'm not even gonna lie, it still kind of freaks me out to talk about this experience, but I'm gonna share it with others so people don't feel so alone by it if you've had any scary ghostly experiences yourself. So I decided the other day that I was going to make a set of two vlogs. One, I was going to talk about my scariest ghost hunt, and then the other one I was going to talk about would be my most fun or exciting. But since it's pretty late at night here, I'm going to go with scariest. My favorite graveyard to hang out in is on Galveston Island, and it's actually located on Broadway. It's huge. It's one of the oldest cemeteries, I think, in Texas, actually, because, Galveston was a port city, and so it was kind of one of the first major cities settled in Texas. And so this graveyard, I don't know how much people know about Texas on the interwebs, or Galveston in particular, but we had the 1900 storm, which is the biggest natural disaster ever. And then unfortunately in '08, I think it was '08, we had Hurricane Ike, which was just crazy devastating. The island was shut down for a really long time, except for people who actually live on the island. And so everything was torn up. I mean, everything. And this would be graveyards included. And actually, the focus has been on the island to there are still some sections of Galveston that don't have power. There are some sections of Galveston now where all the houses just completely got washed away. So, needless to say, the damage in the graveyards wasn't priority number one, as sad as that is, especially in the older graveyards and the older sections, because some of these graves are from the very early 1800s, and so, their children are dead, and people's relatives scatter all over. So, many of the coffins actually came up out of the ground. A lot of the foundations of the tombstones, here, anywhere where it's coastal, they have a lot of the tombs above ground. They don't bury them underground because they just would pop up in case of a flood. And a lot of the mausoleums are broken and rusted, and they're actually broken into, and all of the bodies have actually washed away over time. And so hobos and other people will crawl into the mausoleums and sleep, and the remains they didn't know what to do with, and so a lot of them were just collected and disposed of because they didn't know what body went in what mausoleum. So many of the mausoleums you can go inside of them, and this and that and the other. So I was out at the graveyard on this particular day, and I was just taking pictures. I do that a lot, and I have been in this graveyard so many times, it's not even funny. I pretty much have all the tombstones memorized, but I looked down one day, and I saw this tombstone that I had never seen before. And on top of it, someone had engraved and written a really, really beautiful poem. And I swear the poem sounded like it was written about me. It talked, how egocentric is that, right? But it was talking about this girl who had passed away very young, and she had blonde hair. I know I have a lot of black in my hair now, but my hair is really naturally blonde before I put all this other stuff in it. And talking about how she had these striking blue eyes and this and that and the other. And I was like, oh God, I know this might sound morbid to some people, but I was like, I have to have my picture taken with this tombstone. And I stand in front of tombstones all the time and take my picture. It's just kind of a little hobby of mine. And I generally get good feelings, especially around the older tombstones, because this might sound kind of crazy, but I almost feel like the spirits that are there kind of enjoy the company and, you know, somebody being there to visit them. Because 9 times out of 10, no matter what time of day it is, I'm the only person in this graveyard. It's crazy. So I have the whole place to myself. So whatever I hear, generally, I kind of think could be paranormal in nature, because it's pretty much isolated. The few businesses that are around it, they're not open at this hour of the day, because I was there around noon or 1 on this particular day. But the businesses that are immediately around it are like breakfast and kolache places, so they close at 11 and noon. So it's generally just me in this whole giant field of tombstones. So there I was, and I was like, I'm gonna sit down on the tombstone, which sounds bad, but I was like, I'm gonna sit on this tombstone and I'm gonna take a picture. And all of a sudden, you know, when you set the timer on my camera, it's like a 10-second timer. And in these 10 seconds, I had a feeling I had never had before. It was literally like all the feelings that you've ever had in your life, of like dread and fear and death, like all culminating into one horrible moment. And I was like, oh God, like I was like, I gotta get up, I gotta get out of here. It was crazy. So in that 10 seconds, the photo took, and I was like, seriously, I've got to delete it. I've got to apologize. So that's what I did. I deleted the picture immediately. I got up and I said, look, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't mean any disrespect. Like, I'm just, you know, here talking out loud to myself, you know, kind of making the whole situation seem okay. But usually around paranormal stuff, I'm really interested and hardly ever spooked. But this time I was actually afraid. I was like, this is just so bad, y'all. I would also argue that I've never really had anything follow me home from anywhere, except for I would debate on this occasion that perhaps whatever was there and didn't appreciate me being there kind of might have casted like a dark shadow over my life for a while, because right after this happened, the about 2 days afterward was a Friday, and one of my dogs died, which was really, really tragic and sudden. She was perfectly healthy. It was an accident involving like rain and everything. It still really bothers me. So my dog died. And then the very next week, I got into a horrible car accident that did $17,000 worth of damage to my car. And my right hand got broken right here, which really sucks because I make clothing for a living. I'm a fashion designer. And so I was out of commission for over a month because my hand was in a cast. And that was really terrible. And then I got really, really sick, and I was in the emergency room 3 times. And the list goes on, like, for months. It was like my life was just plagued with, like, really horrible stuff and bad luck. And it really, really scared me. So, needless to say, I never went around that tombstone again. But I was brave enough, after my hand healed and everything, I did go back out to that cemetery. Because really, like I said before, my experiences there have been overwhelmingly good. I've gotten a lot of really neat things on my DVR there. I've gotten whistling, humming, singing. Something really creepy that happened was I got crying. I got crying once. And then the time that I went finally after my hand got healed and everything, it was really, really scary because, once again, I was taking pictures. Sounds like I totally didn't learn my lesson, right? But I was taking pictures again, and my back was actually facing the particular tombstone that I had the bad experience with. And I heard, like, a woman weeping. I would not make this shit up, seriously. And so that freaked me out a little bit. I can't say that I stayed for very much longer after I heard the crying coming from that direction. But it's really, really, really interesting for me to hear the humming in particular. It sounded like a male presence. And very often I do feel this one male presence by this tall tombstone. I always take the most pictures by this one man's tombstone because it seems like I always get like this really jovial feeling when I'm around this tombstone, and that was the direction of the humming, and it was just like a low like I can't hum, right? But it was like a man humming a tune. I don't even know what tune he was humming, but so that by far was my scariest ghost encounter, and I will be filming my most fun and most awesome experience video next, probably in between when I'm doing some makeup stuff, because you know that's my other big gig on YouTube. But I hope y'all like this, and if y'all have any other experience stories that you want to share with me, please put it in the comments. And if you have any particular questions about my ghost hunting experiences, just feel free to message me and ask me any questions that you might have. You can request me to make videos if y'all are interested in this subject matter. I've had a lot of experiences. I've gone to a lot of different places. So I will make some more videos in the future, but I will talk to you guys later.